Hey there, this is Molly. Welcome back to my YouTube channel as we take a look at the Capricorn Full Moon. It's happening on June 24th at 2:39 p.m. That's Eastern Daylight Time. Please adjust for your location on the planet. Now, a few things I wanted to note about the Capricorn Full Moon. Every year, it is a checking in point for the middle energies of the year. The calendar year begins with the sun in Capricorn, and the calendar year ends with the sun in Capricorn. So the Capricorn full moon is literally a checking in point to the beginning and end of the year, how far you've come, what your priorities are, and with a full moon, it's about changes and shifts. So we look at the first half of the year, what has been accomplished, what has been well done, well executed, and then what needs to change because it's no longer important. It's no longer something that you want to stay committed to or follow through with. For example, you could be checking in on your New Year's resolutions if you remember what those are, or even your New Year's intentions, and see if they still resonate and if it's still valid for you. Now, the other thing to note about the Capricorn full moon, specifically here in 2021, is that since January 2019, every Capricorn lunation has been an eclipse. So this is the first time we're not experiencing a Capricorn eclipse with this energy. So right there, it's going to feel a little bit more settled and grounded. So here we have the moon at 3 degrees of Capricorn, 27 minutes, and it is opposing the sun at 3 degrees of Cancer, 27 minutes. Every full moon is an opening, is bringing you new awareness into the area of your chart where the moon is. The moon is the focal point here. So you want to identify where 3 degrees of Capricorn is in your chart, as this is where you could be seeing something differently, seeing it in a new way, and opening up to what these Capricorn messages have for you at this time of the year. So the moon in Capricorn is wanting to be productive and responsible. It wants to keep things moving ahead. It can be very mindful of what needs to get done. This can also be a workhorse energy where you're very dedicated and committed to the tasks in front of you, and you want to be productive on a daily basis. So this energy is grounding us. It's bringing us back to, what do I need to take care of? What matters? What's in front of me now that I do need to see through, that I do have to be aware of and take seriously? So there's always a seriousness with the Capricorn energies, and it reminds us that we do have responsibilities, but we're also looking at our overall energy management. And that is one of the gifts of Capricorn. It's an energetic management of your whole life, your priorities, what is important, and where you're getting stronger in what is important and what is essential in your daily life. And because it's a full moon, there could be some new things coming to your awareness that needs your attention. Maybe something you put on the back burner, or something's coming back around, something that you're like, okay, I need to take care of this. This is something that I have to put my energy, time, and effort towards. Now, that moon in Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Here is Saturn at 12 degrees Aquarius retrograde, coming off of that exact square to Uranus. And that happened about 10 days before this full moon. But the energy of the square between Saturn and Uranus is strong all year long. So it's still rippling out. It's still showing us the overall changes in our lives that we're wanting to make and we're willing to make. Now, the Saturn energy, especially retrograde, is about doing less. It's about, what do you cut out? What is being removed? What is no longer important, no longer a priority? Because that Aquarius energy is about the future, what you're building for the future, what matters for the long term, what can stand on its own. How do you create something, or how do you make the right decisions for yourself that support where you're going for that long-term growth, or even just what you're looking at for your life? So this energy right away has a seriousness to it. It has a retraction. It has a sense of, maybe I took on too much. What needs to go? What is no longer necessary? And this is a full moon where you may have some decisions to make about what gets cut out simply because you don't have the time, energy, or effort for everything. Now, this Saturn here, even though it's retrograde, that means it's more internal. We're sitting with things longer, reconsidering, reprioritizing, recommitting to what matters for the long term. And this Saturn is still trining the North Node in Gemini at 9 degrees, and it's also trining this Mercury at 16 degrees, which is now direct. So Mercury has already stationed direct as of the day before this full moon. So this Mercury has traveled back to give information to this Saturn that's making some decisions. So this is a nice dance because that Mercury retrograde has been thinking through many things, and now there's maybe some decisions or clarity. There's something that's come to light or something that you're just aware of that matters to you. And as that Mercury is trining this Saturn, there's decisiveness. There's a sense of, yes, this is what I do need to do. This is what I do need to focus on. So the air signs here with this Saturn and with both Mercury and the North Node in Gemini is about the ideas, projects, conversations, communications, and people. The people we're committed to, the people we work with, work for, the people we communicate with. So there's information here that has come to light around what is necessary. And when you have this understanding, it could change daily priorities. It could change what you're doing on a daily basis with this full moon, where you can see what is paying off and what is not, where the fruits of your labor are showing up, or where there's something that you know what, I've just put enough time into this. I think I'm done. I'm going to move on. So again, that's part of the decision making here of a Capricorn full moon, where there's a reality check of how far you've come, but then also support for how you want to complete the end of this year. So this gives you an assessment, and it's interesting because this Capricorn energy, we know it well. It's changed the world. It's shifted what have been our priorities. And I feel like there's something here where there are still new energies getting off the ground. Capricorn is a cardinal sign, and it is about what we're beginning that's satisfying, what we're beginning that gives us our priorities. So this would be a great time to give yourself a 6-month plan in what you want to accomplish or achieve by the end of 2021. What are realistic goals? And at the same time, this ruler of Capricorn, Saturn, is still in that ongoing square to Uranus, which will also be exact 6 months from now. But when they're exact or in a square, when they're in their third and final square, December 24th, the Saturn energy is direct and stronger. Uranus will be retrograde in December. So we are building something that's going to have some rewards to it. It's going to bring us an idea of where we're going, what matters. And this is a time to make the necessary changes so that in 6 months, you've put the Saturn to work. The Saturn energy wants to work, wants to commit, wants to apply effort. So we're getting, again, that reassessment here of where we've come this year, where we want to go, and what needs to change now in order to get us to that next higher destination. Now, this Saturn, again, the ruler of Capricorn, is coming up to some tension with Mars. So here's Mars up here at 8 degrees of Leo, moving pretty slowly and approaching an exact opposition to Saturn, which will be exact July 1st into about July 2nd. So this is a growing opposition to Saturn, which means that This Mars in Leo likes to do things his own way, follow his own path, trust himself, follow what really inspires him and lights him up. This is a courageous Mars. And what he's doing right now is he is actually coming up to this opposition to Saturn. Then this Mars is going to have a square to Uranus. So there's a slowdown here that's building, and you could feel that. You could feel that there's something that you're working on or you're asserting yourself towards that maybe isn't going as fast as you'd like. And the Mars opposition to Saturn means a no, a full stop, and there could be a challenge here from an outside authority. So Mars is a personal planet. It represents our personal needs, desires, wants, how we use our physical energy. And it's known for being connected with the masculine energies. And as it comes up against Saturn, which is the authority, the boss, the person in charge, Saturn says, no, it's not time. So there could be something that really gets you excited, inspired, ready to go. And then there's a slowdown here. And that slowdown is exact the beginning of July. And that is to be honored. Just trust the timing here. Trust that you're meant to take a pause, look at something, look if you have all the information, all the details. Like, is there something else here that you're not seeing? And plan accordingly, that pause and that stop or that no can be beneficial, because the opposition to Saturn in Aquarius is that it takes you out of yourself or your immediate needs or a limited perspective. Leo can have a limited perspective. Saturn is pulling you out into the future and is kind of bringing up some tough questions. Where is this going? What's the long-term plan? Is this going to pay off? What is the purpose of this? So think of this Saturn as a loving, kind mentor giving you some tough love or some important questions to consider. Then that Mars is going to square Uranus. And that Uranus energy is breaking free and breaking out, and can actually be dangerous when it's squaring Mars, because we can be more reckless, injury prone, very impatient and impulsive. So there is an element of needing to be safe. This is going to be during the beginning of July. But there's something that this Uranus needs to say to Mars. And the Uranus energy is in an earth sign, is in Taurus, is in the grounding energy of consider this, remember this, don't forget this. And it's meant to give that Mars in Leo a bigger understanding of the full picture. But Mars doesn't really care, and Mars just wants to follow his own path and go his own way. So what we have here is called a T-square, and it's with the fixed signs of Leo, Taurus, and Aquarius. Something's got to budge, and it could be tight. There could be a lot of change, a lot of what do I do next? This could feel stuck because it's in the fixed signs that want stability, want reliability, want consistency, want something to be known. But I think that what's happening is that Mars in Leo is coming up to break up the tension between this Saturn and Uranus and that Uranus and Taurus that we've been working with all year. Mars comes through and brings you back to what you really want, brings you back into your solar plexus and into what you need, which is one of the gifts of Leo. Now, we do have that Mars also approaching a trine to this Chiron, which can be healing, especially for the body, healing even parts of the ego. This is also masculine energy, so healing something that's been wounded within, healing parts of the false ego, kind of being able to see more of who you really are or who you are becoming. So even though we have a T-square in the fixed signs, what we do next is look for the trines, which open up the energy. So that Mars is going to be trining that Chiron at 12 degrees of Aries. And Mars is also making a lovely sextile to the North Node in Gemini. So there's a release there for that Mars energy. And we talked about how Saturn is trining Mercury and Gemini energies here, the North Node in Gemini. So it's like the Gemini energy has some answers for us. If you get stuck in that T-square, talk it out, write it out, even look at new ways to see it, new things that you didn't consider, because this energy wants us to move and kind of keep a conversation going. Now, the other strong energy in this chart is an opposition between this Pluto at 26 degrees of Capricorn retrograde and this Venus at 27 degrees of Cancer. Now, this opposition can bring up something that's not in alignment with values. This can be something that's a power struggle or push or pull with women, and that's part of the Venus archetypal energies, just as Mars is about the masculine. But this can also bring up changes in what you want, because Venus is about what she wants, and she's soft and sensitive and caring when she's in Cancer. Then she comes up to this hard reality check of Pluto in Capricorn, which is much more about what are you accomplishing, what are you moving, and what are you not seeing. So there could be something here that this Pluto, which is the stronger energy, is reminding Venus about, that she has things to work on or take care of, and that there's choices to be made here. Now, that Venus energy can always be about money. It can be anything related to women in your family, women in your tribe, people who are close to you. So there could be some kind of power struggle, tension, standoff with women with these types of archetypal energies where you're not on the same page. And maybe just let something go. What needs to be removed? What needs to be moved past? That Venus in Cancer can bring up energies from the past, old issues, recycled issues, kind of like the topics that keep coming up. And this could be something where the energy is like, we need to move past this. We need to be done with this. We need to have some new understanding, because this is the present moment. Capricorn does bring us into the reality of right now, whereas that Cancer energy can be in the past. And so there's something here where that Pluto in Capricorn is talking to that Venus in Cancer, and it could feel like Pluto saying it's time to grow up, or it's time to be more mature, or you're being too soft, you're being too sensitive. And that's can feel really uncomfortable, but that Venus in Cancer is also learning how to just keep trusting herself, to trust what she feels, and to trust what she needs. And she will enter Leo in a matter of days after the Capricorn full moon, and that will help strengthen her. But there could be some sensitive points that are touched around this Capricorn full moon. So just a heads up on that. Now, we do have this Jupiter at 2 degrees of Pisces retrograde, making a lovely sextile to the moon, as well as a trine to the sun. This is a softer influence. It's something that can help you step into the flows of life, to take a break, to get some downtime and some rest. This Jupiter is a softer influence, but it's supportive, and it can bring up a higher spiritual understanding of what's going on, what you're feeling, what is really coming up, and it can help you detach. So that might be really beneficial here, is to find how to step back from it all, to not get too entangled with the tension, because there is tension in this chart with that opposition between Pluto and Venus, the T-square between Mars and Saturn and Uranus, and then of course every full moon is an opposition. So this Jupiter, I think, offers some lovely gifts of just look at where you can, again, step back, take a break, not get too caught up in the changes, and go where it feels good to take care of your energy and see if you can find and focus on what you're learning, what you're practicing, and how all of this is working out for the best and highest good. So a very dynamic Capricorn full moon we have here. As always, you want to find where 3 degrees of Capricorn is in your natal chart. You do not need to have a planet or point there because we all have every degree of the zodiac in our natal chart. So you're looking at the house where you have 3 degrees of Capricorn. You can see in this example here, the 3rd house begins at 19 degrees of Sag and ends at 20 degrees of Capricorn, which means that 3 degrees of Capricorn is in between. So you would just find where that 3-degree point is on the astrological wheel, and then that house is where you're experiencing the full moon energies, where something is being illuminated and coming up to the surface for you to see. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been helpful and beneficial as we navigate this middle of 2021. You can find out more about me below this video. I offer a variety of astrology classes, and I'll be back here every Monday and Wednesday for a new podcast episode. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, comments, and follows. And thank you so much for sharing this video in Facebook groups and in other places where you know that other people can find it and it would help them as well. Thank you so much, and I'll see you back here very soon.